Loathsome Things, a horror movie podcast, is now returning to you, and it's been awfully chicksome around here lately, what with these female directors and female leading roles, so we thought maybe we'd go back to the dudes this time. I am your co-dude Josh, and with me as always is your other co-dude John. John, how's it dudin'?
I'm duding pretty duderific. I've already ruined the entire episode.
Oh, it's already terrible, and that's okay. Because, I mean, dude, what else are you gonna even do with this?
That's true. I am a dude, and that's my purloin?
Yeah.
Purview?
Yeah. Purloin.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's your letter. Your purloined letter.
T.
John, is there a female in this movie?
Jesus, I don't believe there is. Is there any?
I know there's a reference to mothers and how they will be told.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably some that are rounded up.
Some of the characters have children, so ostensibly they had children with women.
Oh, there's a lady that lost her keys.
The Freezy lady.
Yeah, Freezy lady, and also the cashieress.
Yeah, that's right. Couple token ladies.
Okay, good. We got some in there. We passed the Bechdel test. There are ladies in this movie.
Men, part 2.
How are you, John? How are your days?
I'm doing well. My stupid cat one's out now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
1 second. All right.
Thank you.
The cat out of the bag. There we go.
Fat fuck. All right. So I'm doing well. My son was staying with us for a while, and that was a little chaotic. And now he's gone, and I have his gaming mouse. Which is pretty cool. It's way more sensitive than I need it to be, but yeah, that's my life. Pretty exciting. How about yours?
It's pretty good. Are you gaming with that mouse, sir? Because you can turn down that sensitivity. It's real important to get that precision.
I literally just plugged it in today. I haven't, since I'm not in school currently, I haven't even really been using my computer as the rest of the planet. I just use my phone for everything.
Nice.
How about you? You doing all right?
I'm doing okay. All of the things are going on, and the world is terrible. The world is just really bad.
That's probably why I've been reading astrophysics books and stuff. I would get off this fucking planet.
Yeah, and just think about things that are better than living here generally. Like maybe don't even think about Salman Rushdie getting stabbed. Like it's 4 decades ago still, John.
Yeah, it's like that dude that did it probably wasn't even born.
Yeah, I think he's like 25 or something like that. Yeah, he wasn't even born.
Pled not guilty. So there you go.
Yeah, not guilty. Fuck you, dude. God.
The book that was misinterpreted from the beginning, and this guy goes to Chautauqua, which is like this isolated place in the middle of fucking nowhere. The closest city is hours away, Buffalo. It's like this
a beautiful town.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
It's like this, think space where people that are much better than I am go to talk about big ideas, and they bring Salman Rushdie in, and some fucking clown stabs the guy. It's like, really? But okay, that's the world we're living in. So sure. So yeah,
fuck everything.
God. Apparently he's okay, sort of. He's come out of the they had him under, and they brought him back out, and apparently his son said he's retained his sense of humor because he was always a smart ass. So that's good.
Nice.
I'm glad to hear that. But yeah.
I mean, he's totally a badass now. You don't get stabbed in the neck, survive, and then just be a wimp anymore. Like you have your chops now.
Yeah. The guy could write, and now he's also a Terminator.
Yes. Well, speaking of Terminator, today is Judgment Day for us. We are testing out an experimental new format where we're going to try to do all of this that we normally do in 2+ hours in a nice hour-long format. Let's see if it works. John, what movie are we 1 houring today?
we are 1 houring a over 2 hour movie based on a Stephen King novel, the one he wrote after his accident, Addicted to Painkillers, and even he doesn't really like the book, so that's a good start. And we are watching Dreamcatcher from whatever, 2000 early something, I forget.
I think it's 2003. It came right after Cabin Fever and right before Slither.
Yeah, Slither was great.
Yes.
Why aren't we talking about that movie? This is a weird movie for everyone involved, really. Lawrence Kasdan, this is way out of his... some of the actors they just don't work together as people that we're supposed to believe have been friends their whole lives, and then we've got the whole eyebrow thing going on, and it just has so many problems. It is entertaining at times.
Yeah,
the effects are, they're very CGI, although they do use some modeling effects, but yeah, it's a rough go.
Yeah. Yeah, when the horror is good in this movie, it's real good, but most of the time it is not good. And we've got this director guy, Kasdan, he like wrote all of the like really good Star Wars movies and I think some Indiana Jones. He's like he's got his fingers in every good pie going on, and then he directs this movie, and it's kind of trash, and it's right in that middle period of the downslope of Stephen King movies, where you had really good Stephen King movies, and then you had absolute garbage trash Stephen King movies, and garbage trash Stephen King television miniseries. And this was that upswing, like, okay, let's put, Hollywood bucks back into it. And this is what came out.
It could have been good. There's a lot of talent involved for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming there was a lot of talent behind the camera as well, aside from just Kasdan. And obviously it was made professionally with a lot of money. The acting is just not there,
no.
and that's a big part of the problem. It's campy when it shouldn't be. And it tries to be serious, but it just can't pull it off. And it's just painful. It's hard to watch at times. It's like, it makes me embarrassed almost.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's without the spoilers. We're going to hop now into, I have written a less than 500 word synopsis. So we're going to spoil the whole thing. So leave now. And then after we're done synopsising the entire thing, we're just going to talk shit about the movie for however we feel like it. That's the new format, folks.
That's right. And just one more tip. 2-word tip about this movie.
Just the tip.
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore.
Okay, carry on.
Yes. All right, Dreamcatcher. 4 boys are having a summer to remember in the past. They save a boy named Duddits from bullies. Duddits has an intellectual disability, and this is a Stephen King story, so guess what? Later, after alluding to saving the world and being afraid of Mr. Grey, Duddits grants the boys magical powers which they use to find a missing girl.
Ista A.
Ista A? This movie. Did they spend time taking turns using hateful slurs that were very common at this time in America? Yes, they did.
Yeah, it's not PC, this movie.
Not anymore. Maybe at the time, but not even then. It was already rude.
Yeah, like it's not PC if you save this kid from bullies and then tell everybody that you're friends with the retard. Yeah,
it's not good.
That's not woke. That's not...
It's not good. Skip forward to quote-unquote present day. As adults, we have Thomas James Henry, who is a shitty psychologist despite his ability to read minds. Okay?
Just let that sink in.
Yeah, he can read your mind, and he uses it to drive his patients to suicide before trying to commit suicide. Fantastic.
With no moral qualms whatsoever.
No, just like later he's like, I kind of feel bad about it. And his friends are like, no, you're fine. Damian Lewis plays Jonesy, who is a good professor who, quote, just sometimes knows. Great. Timothy Olyphant plays Pete, who is an icky car salesman who can find anything by twirling his fingers at stuff. And does he use that in a gross sexual way towards women? Why, yes, he does.
Yes. Oh, boy. Does he ever.
Jason Lee plays Beaver, whose magical ability appears to be chewing toothpicks.
Yeah, and apparently being addicted to them. He can't go without them, as far as I can tell.
He literally, spoiler, dies because he could not chew on a toothpick, even if it's on a disgusting, dirty bathroom floor.
Yeah, here's a tip, folks. If your floor is covered in alien, fungal, infected, bloody fecal matter, yeah, if you see a spot that looks like it might be clean, and that's where you've got some of your toothpicks, don't believe that. Your eyes are deceiving you.
Yeah.
Nothing should be picked up off that floor and put in your fucking mouth.
Nope. Definitely don't, chew on it and let your soak spit into it and then suck your spit back out of it and chew on it some more after it was on butt floor. Alien, fungus, mutant, death, butt floor. That was not in the less than 500 word synopsis.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Thomas Jane, Damian Lewis, Timothy Olyphant, and Jason Lee. It's a pretty good lineup. None of them have any chemistry together whatsoever. Even when they are pillow talkily whispering each other's names to each other.
Yeah,
Jonesy. Jonesy.
Everything is so contrived and forced, and they have their own language that even they don't buy. That's the impression you get. If this is a real fuckaroo or whatever.
Yeah, they never had to knock on wood.
Yeah.
And all of this is going on. They're talking together on little one-on-one conversations, and all been thinking about Duddits lately when all of a sudden Stephen King gets hit by a car. I mean, Josie gets hit by a car. I'm sorry, Jonesy gets hit by a car.
My bad.
The little girl that was missing that they found was named Josie, and they spent a lot of time saying her name over and over again, which is confusing because I'm like, hey, he's right there. Oh, they said Josie, not Jonesy. Great.
Could have picked any name.
Any name. 6 months later, the horrible car accident apparently wasn't so horrible, even though he looked dead as fuck.
Yeah. Like Twitchy dead.
Yeah, his body, folded in the wrong ways.
He was death throwing.
Yes. They are now all hanging out in their winter isolation cabin, a la The Thing or something like that. This movie definitely isn't just 50% Stephen King books and 50% other horror movies put into a blender. They are all friends. They do banter. The aforementioned fuckaroos versus fuckaras or fuckeries and what they all mean. They all say SSDD together like it's a cool joke that just they have together. Is it important to the plot? Somehow, yes. Just that one time and it not good.
Yeah, just shows up repeatedly and never makes any sense.
Yeah, no bounce, no play. We learned that Jonesy's other magical power, in addition to just knowing sometimes, is he has a memory warehouse, which is a very fancy library where he keeps all of his porn and facts.
Yeah, apparently it's tucked away in a corner of Hogwarts, and
yes.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yes. The movie goes out of its way to depict him in the nice polished wood shelves where he has filing boxes full of labeled with memories, and they talk about it and about how he to learn a computer, he had to get rid of all of his rock song lyrics. even though he's supposed to be 35, 40 years old, he is now run out of brain space and has to incinerate anything in order to learn a new thing.
Never mind that his brain library has plenty of room for more stuff.
No, but it looks very nice in there. It's impressive video, whatever. Totally done.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely dumb.
At this point, the group starts splitting up in strange ways that I'm not going to try to summarize. Jonesy brings a lost hunter back to the cabin. The lost hunter burps, farts, bulges, and then goes to sleep. Meanwhile, Henry and Pete almost hit Stephen King with their car. Some woman with their car. And instead of hitting her, they do an epic rollover car crash. Stephen King.
Yeah, very, very elaborate.
At this point, helicopters come hover overhead and tell them that they are under military quarantine. Later, we'll get a whole storyline of Morgan Freeman's Colonel Snowbrows, I call him, because his his eyebrows just catch all the snow. And Tom Sizemore's Bucko. Their storyline is boring and sucks.
Yeah, they add nothing of value to the movie.
Nope. At the cabin, something has shot out of the hunter's butt and once out of the toilet, which Beaver secures by sitting on top of the toilet. The thing in the toilet gets Beaver because Beaver couldn't not chew on a gross toothpick. It first bites off his fingers and then kills him all the way. It looks like a penis with eyes and teeth.
Oh, yeah, like a teeth-laden vaginmouth.
Yeah, with a butthole
like
that
vertical,
has,
Yeah,
all the orifice. It's basically an orifice monster.
It is.
Shaped like
disgusting.
a turd.
Yes, it's horrible.
Yeah. Just then, a giant Area 51-looking alien shows up and turns into a cloud of red mist that Jonesy breathes in. I guess, Josie was also a female in this movie. Great. He breathes in the red mist. Somewhere else. Now we see that Jonesy has a writer in his brain, and that writer has a British accent, and causes the actor to do dumb head-tilting stuff, and have a really bad British accent sometimes, and they do back-and-forth argument talk.
A really bad British accent. He's British.
Yeah, they were like, ooh, but could you make it not that actually British? Could you make it sound like an American dude doing a bad British accent? And he was like, oh yeah, I could do that.
I got you, dog. Jonesy, old boy. It's fucking terrible. Ugh.
Another alien penis monster tries to eat Pete's dick off while Pete is drunk. There's a whole storyline about whether or not Pete is an alcoholic, and fuck that. Henry can sense Jonesy coming on a snowmobile, but then realizes by talking out loud to himself and to Jonesy, who's not there, that he can tell that that's not actually Jonesy and that there's something wrong. Great. Pete tries to finger blast Mr. Gray when Mr. Gray shows up and misses by a wide and easy margin. And then Mr. Gray eats Pete while Jonesy watches from inside the memory warehouse, because eyes are a window of the eyes are the window of the warehouse, John.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Henry finds Beaver's fungusy corpse in the fungusy house. He gets a telepathic image of what happened to Jonesy. He finds the penis alien roosting on a pile of butt eggs, which turn into sperm guys that he burns along with the cabin.
They look let's use practical effects for this part. So like these little squirrely pieces of rubber on the floor that look completely fake.
Yeah,
Great.
It's the worst possible part. Should we save the practical effects for the alien transformation and make it like a cool costume? No. Nope.
In no way shall we do that.
So he burns the spermy guys along with the entire cabin, and then makes his way, after a whole bunch of just boring nonsense that I skip over, he makes his way to Duddits. Big reveal, adult Duddits is dying of cancer and is played by a really strung out looking Donnie Wahlberg.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah. Yep, Duddits loves Scooby-Doo and says Scooby-Doo things and still has his Scooby-Doo lunchbox, which is now full of cancer medicine. Great. It turns out that Mr. Gray's big plan, the reason he's doing all of this, is he's going to poison the water supply of Massachusetts with the little spermy guys. So they have to do a big showdown at a water treatment facility in Massachusetts. At the big showdown, Mr. Gray tries to convince Henry that he's just Jonesy, so they agree to a classic something only Jonesy would know memory duel, which he almost wins while a sperm is hatching and sneaking towards the end of the world. But just then, Duddit shows up wearing the largest boots in the world. And we get I think he says something like, "We've got a lot of work to do now," or something Scooby-Doo-ish like that. Yeah, it's good. And then they do a double alien transformation and fight scene. They battle, and it sucks. And then during the battle, they both turn into a puff of red mist, which then shows off, you can see the shape of a Dreamcatcher in the red mist, and then it's over, and then it's just H. Jonesy. Movie over.
It's just jaw-droppingly terrible. It just was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then it's just over. I mean, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's this movie's really bad.
It's pretty bad. I want to address the military component of it, because there's this whole military thing where they quarantine the area, they round up all of the civilians, they're going to kill all of them because Morgan Freeman has gone crazy in his Men in Black style trying to defeat the aliens. Tom Sizemore is conflicted because he thinks maybe we shouldn't kill all humans, and there's a John Wayne handgun that's involved. It has a tracking chip in it. At one point, Henry puts it up to his head like a telephone to talk to Jonesy. And then Tom Sizemore ends up at the big showdown. Morgan Freeman's there shooting a minigun off of a news helicopter, basically. And Tom Sizemore takes him down with the John Wayne, 45 caliber handgun. And it doesn't play into it. We could have had the whole story without that military component. Maybe if the other two friends didn't die, they could have been part of this action and actually, built on the charisma that wasn't there.
Yeah, it was a whole side of the movie that was completely irrelevant. It wasn't even like it was made up for with good performances. It just was terrible. Like this weird concentration camp environment where it's like the crazies, where everybody's lumped together, except with no charm, you don't care about the people, you don't care about the military, you don't care about the friends, you don't care about fucking Duddits, I don't care about Mr. Gray. Every character and side element of this movie is uninteresting.
Yeah.
And uncompelling.
Yeah. Even though they've quarantined, the entire surrounding mileage, there's, no people there, basically. It's just more Henry. It's to the point that he easily gets FaceTime with the command staff, and when they look out their window, they see him at the fence, and he's just standing there staring at him. It's so dumb.
And I love how they have selective precognitive ability. There's certain things that could have ended this story before it even got off the ground that they should have been able to see since they're precogs, but no, they can't see those things. And so it just hurdles this stupid story forward. Here comes this giant helicopter with two people, or a bunch of people in it, all having minds that we should be able to read, but no, they have no idea why they're there. They don't, what's happening? It's none of it makes any sense. There's no logic to it. It's just trash. And if you're gonna play it like that, if you're gonna play it like trash, then make the whole thing trashy. Don't cloak it in some sort of another masterpiece from Stephen King. No, the book must be terrible. because, I mean, he's basically bastardized everything, like fungal spore anus monsters and gray aliens and, you know, precognitive abilities in a group of childhood friends who aren't interesting when they're children and aren't any more interesting as adults. And they have their own stupid language that nobody else wants to know. And, like, all the dumb shit that he puts in all of his books that no one cares about. Except the people who love his books so much. I don't understand it.
I don't know.
I think it's like soap operas, you know? Like, my wife likes soap operas. She grew up in Brazil. They watch novellas there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's not like anybody in Brazil thinks that this stuff is Shakespeare. They watch it. Part of the reason why they watch it is because the story goes on. And they can get involved in these characters and not really invest much. And, you know, it's just entertaining in that respect. And this... I guess a lot of people see Stephen King that way. Like, these books just meander. You know, it's like comfort food. But I would be okay with that, but there's too many people that are like, dude, you know, like, fucking Stephen King, dog. Like, yeah. It's like, you know, like jerking off to Stephen King books and stuff. It's something's not right there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think for me, the problem is that, yeah, people that read Stephen King then are like, yes, I appreciate literature.
You know, he's written some things that I like, for sure. Yeah. And, you know, I can't say that for all the books I've read. You know, there's several authors who have written things that are fucking terrible, and I've even given them, you know, oh, that's the wrong one, read this one. And I read that one, and it's shit, too. And it's like, you know... I'm sure his shit-to-good ratio is probably not great, but he also has written more books than the rest of Earth combined, so...
Yeah. I mean, James Patterson is also a successful author. I would say that Stephen King has more artistry in his literature than James Patterson. I'll go out on that limb.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Especially considering Patterson doesn't even write his books anymore.
And I haven't seen a whole lot of those. The Stephen King novel written by some asshole.
Well, they're all written by some asshole.
That's true.
Stephen King.
All of this is to say, I think Stephen King's a pretty cool guy, and I like him. He likes cool stories. He just... Man, he's kind of like an embarrassing dad type of character sometimes. Like, some of the stuff in here is like, ew, no.
He's handled a lot of this subject matter in better ways. Let's put it like that. I mean, yeah. The friends growing up thing was handled much better in other books. Even it is, you know, handles it better. Stand By Me. I mean, you know, the buddies that are friends for generations is a cool idea. I mean, you know, it's. That's a hard thing to tackle, I think, especially to keep people's interest over what essentially is lifetimes of several characters. And I think he does a good job of doing that kind of stuff when he's on. The fact that he was completely addicted to painkillers and probably was just like, God only knows what kind of trauma he was suffering, like PTSD or whatever.
Oh, God, yeah.
I can't imagine, because that dude waylaid him. I mean, he really got hammered. So he's one of those, it's like Salman Rushdie, like he's lucky to be alive. And, speaking of, just a real quick aside, we did I Know What You Did last summer in the last episode, and Anne Heche was in that movie, and she just passed away, and that was really sad. I was sorry to see that.
Oh, did she, they took her off life support already?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made an unfortunate pun in the tweet about it. I wished her a in parentheses speedy recovery, and that was when they were still saying that she was going to pull through and everything was fine. And I don't feel great about that now.
Well, yeah, because when it happened, you know, it was a week ago, and not if you're listening, it'll be a couple weeks, but yeah. But you know, I mean, we saw her moving we saw her sit up on the stretcher and try to. You know, obviously she was out of her mind, but she was trying to get off the stretcher. So I was like, well, she's conscious. And then they said that she was in stable condition, and I didn't hear anything more. So I didn't, you know, I kind of forgot about the story. And then I was just reading the news the other day, and it's like, you know, oh, she was taken off life support and she died, and people are mourning her loss. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Well, apparently she had a traumatic brain injury that she never recovered from, plus all the burns. So anyways, she was in I Know What You Did last summer. She was one of the better parts of that movie.
Yep.
she didn't need to be there, but she was, she's always fun on screen, so that was a shame.
Yeah. Fuck cars.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's a... So, and fuck this movie.
Yeah, fuck this movie. I want to talk about the aliens and, like, okay, so there's fungus. Like, we saw the fungus get on people, and apparently the fungus infects you, and then you get an alien growing inside you.
So the aliens are some sort of self-aware fungal life form.
Maybe.
Sort of.
But then what do the spermies do?
Yeah, why does it... So, it's like a 2-stage reproductive... It's like Alien, I guess. It's like you have the eggs, and then the eggs give birth to the facehugger, and then the facehugger needs a host. So it's a parasitic fungal life form that needs some sort of a host in order to... Some mammal, apparently, warm-blooded host, in order to reproduce into eggs that are shot out of a worm's butt. And then they give birth to gummy worms that infect water supplies. It is so bizarre. It makes no sense.
Yeah. There is like one shot that doesn't look good, but is like, this movie is really cool in idea at times. So there's the scene where like all of the military's gonna go and they're about to eradicate this whole like mountainside full of aliens that are there for some reason. And the aliens start telepathically asking for help in the voices of children, and are like, please, no, and are also psychically projecting themselves as cute little, like, gray Area 51 aliens. There's even a reference to that where they, like, oh yeah, they figure out what you like, and then they show you that, but they're actually, like, the horrible giant poop dick monsters. And then, so they're projecting these aliens, but then once they start shooting, you see them, like, run away, and they're the poop dick monsters, but they have 2 legs now.
Yeah, the shapeshifters, I guess, but I just assumed that was, like, a way of affecting your mind to make you see what... Because that's what they said.
Yeah.
But then they also develop physical attributes and interact with the environment in a physical way. If they need to get away quickly, they suddenly have legs and run.
Yeah.
And why do they need Earth anyway? It doesn't make any sense. They're clearly a superior life form, except that they're so fucking stupid that they somehow aren't able to outsmart Mr. Eyebrows.
Yeah.
Because he's built his career off of foiling the alien invasions repeatedly.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. And also, so they're in Indiana, right? Like this is all happening. Yeah. This is all happening in...
No, they're probably in Maine, aren't they?
Well, I mean, the children grew up in Derry, Indiana, and that's where Duddit still was.
Oh, it's Derry, Maine.
Oh.
That's where...
That makes way more sense.
That's where everything King writes takes place in Derry.
Okay, you're right. You're probably right.
It's all part of the mythology.
For some reason, I thought it was Indiana, but okay. But
I mean,
why did they have to go to Massachusetts?
Sure.
Yeah, why? Like,
I have no fucking idea.
So fucking dumb. Oh yeah, no, we need to go to Massachusetts because there's a really good, like, manhole cover there that we want to get in.
And then there's the most problematic element of the film, which isn't, aliens shooting out of your asshole. Mm-mm. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's Duddits.
Yeah.
And why is... Apparently in the book, Duddits is not an alien.
Fuck off. No.
Like, he doesn't turn into some alien, He may be... I forget the way they explained it. It's more open-ended. The ending of the book sounded much better.
Yeah.
And
I assume the book is better than this.
Yeah, so Duddits is... Jesus Christ. I Duddits. It's that. A lot of that. It's a whole lot of that. It's really bad. It's really offensive. I know it's not meant to be, but god damn.
Yeah.
But anyways, what is the deal? Why is he... Okay, so he's an alien? Is that why he can't speak normally? Because he's got an alien brain?
See, it's hard to know because he also has parents that love him, and he loves them, and he likes Scooby-Doo.
And he somehow is able to bestow precognitive abilities on people.
Yeah. And
and if he could do what he did to that alien, to Mr. Gray in the water pump at the dam or whatever, which was so... Remember the Terminator movie where that ends that way with the big fight in the dam? Mm-hmm. But yes. If he's able to do that, why is he just sitting there in his underwear letting some kid shove shit in his mouth?
Well, I guess he's a Christ figure, John.
Oh God, yeah. I'm afraid you're probably right. Oh yes. God,
like any let's say woman, summer child, minority, or person with a disability in a Stephen King story, he has magical powers and is probably some kind of sacrificial martyr thing, you know.
Any time you're writing something that pretends to be literary in any way, and you can't even begin to touch the actual, like, endless wonder that is being alive and being a part of the universe that we don't understand. I mean, it's... If you can't capture some of that in a book like this broad, you know, you're a douche.
And to be fair, we're not reviewing the book.
We're reviewing the movie.
This horrible movie. I'm sure the book is also pretty bad, though. But hopefully better than this movie. It's gotta be better than this movie.
I have a feeling that, the characters are probably more, believable. I mean, obviously, Morgan Freeman, who's wasted in this movie. I mean, he definitely goes for it. I mean, he's game for this character, but it's just, there's no reason for him to be in that role. It doesn't, you expect a certain thing from him, and that doesn't mean that he should only play that kind of character, but there's certain kinds of characters he shouldn't play, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Like Keanu Reeves, like, everyone says he's a terrible actor. It's like, well, yeah, he's a terrible actor if you're considering only his versatility. Like, can he play any kind of role? No, he can't. There's a lot of things he can't do, like fucking Shakespeare and Bram Stoker and stuff like that. If you put him in those roles, he's going to sound like an idiot because he's just not suited for that kind of stuff. But he's great in The Matrix, and he's great in, John Wick movies, and, he can be entertaining. He's good in My Own Private Idaho, the Gus Van Sant movie. That's pure drama. He's not a caricature in that. It's just, some people are just, like Brad Pitt can do damn near anything. Doesn't get credit for it, but he's played all kinds of characters, and he's usually pretty good at it.
Yeah. I will say, No, I was going to say that he's better when he's confused, but no, he's also really good when he knows more than the watcher does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of someone who's like a megastar that, everybody thinks of as just kind of a dumb guy with a pretty face, but can actually act. And
Keanu can kind of too.
Yeah, Keanu can kind of act, but Morgan Freeman can definitely act.
Yes.
And lowering him to this one-sided character who is like Captain Ahab, who's got a vendetta against fungal aliens, and which apparently instead of losing his leg, he's lost his mind, and his hair trimmers or clippers or whatever. Like, they're so like, what? Why does he have a fucking gun from John Wayne?
Yeah. John Wayne gave him that gun.
And he put a tracking chip in it.
Yeah. He put a tracking chip in it, gave it to his apprentice, that who's like, this is me passing the torch to you. Also, I'm gonna spy on you after you betray me, I guess.
What the fuck? He's got this rogue, like, paramilitary unit that's operating outside of the government, and it's completely mercenary, and the government sends some guy over to somebody blows the whistle. I think it was Henry blows the whistle or something, or whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, it was Bucko. It was Tom Sizemore.
Sizemore.
he calls in that other general, the general that's had it up to here with Morgan Freeman, up to the eyebrows in Morgan Freeman.
So he knocks on the door to Morgan Freeman's trailer command center, and Morgan Freeman just closes the secret hatch to what would be basically half the building.
Yeah.
And the other military guy completely buys his bullshit and just leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh, by the way, we're reading, like, tons of electric activity coming out of your thing. And he was like, oh, yes, I called my wife on the phone.
And that's it?
Bye.
Later?
Don't go through that obvious hatch in the wall there.
Don't go through that giant panel, the only part of the building with nothing on it.
I didn't even put a chair in front of it.
Oh, this room really is an optical illusion. It looks a lot bigger from the outside. Well, carry on.
Also, that general guy was supposed to, like, he was set up as this big reveal. Like, they kept talking about, oh, 2-star general. And then, like, he shows up and he's just, like, some guy. It's not important. Don't worry about it.
He's just some frumpy doofus who, like, apparently has no ability to recognize when somebody's lying to him.
Yeah. Can't even prevent people from stealing a military helicopter and flying away with it. Jesus.
Unchecked. No one ever even comes after him.
No, there's, like, the military involvement ends there. It's just a mano at that point between Morgan Freeman and Tom Sizemore, and they both win.
Oh my god. I mean, this movie is so offensive it even kills a sweet dog that did nothing to anybody.
I know, and it suffers for a long time, too.
With that asshole Damian Lewis character, the Mr. Gray is to A.
To A?
Oh, God.
Yeah. I have been saying ooby-dooby-doo in my brain a lot lately.
A-R-oo. You know, the way no one talks.
Yes. I want to talk about Dunnits again because when he transforms into an alien, it's also supposed to look awesome. But I want you, if you haven't seen the movie, I want you to picture in your head a off-brand fudge-sicle from an ice cream shop, and it says on the package that it's Chewbacca, but it's not because it's so off-brand, and also it's melting, and that is what Dunnits turns into.
That's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He even does a like just terrible.
Like, wow, this is it, huh? This is gonna save humanity. Alright.
And he also has a stabby tail thing, so they stab each other with their stabby tails. Oh, and before he does a transformation, like, apparently his plan was he waits for Mr. Grey to stab him in the chest, then he lifts his arm up and goes, I done it! Again, oh, fuck. And then does the transformation, and then they're both, like, sucked into a cocoon type thing. They turn into red mist, which the last time someone turned into red mist, Mr. Grey entered Jonesy's body, but now this is the good kind of red mist of winning.
This is the winning mist, which dissipates and the world is saved.
Yeah. Great.
And so what's the implication? Is he part of their race? Is he from their part of the universe? Is he... What the fuck is he supposed to be? He's an alien.
He's either an enemy alien of an enemy species, or specifically Mr. Grey's antagonist in some way, because, like, when they reveal it, they're like, oh, he was here the whole time. I knew it. Like, what?
Yeah, they're all compelled. Like, they're compelled by the Dreamcatcher. That one guy's always drawing the Dreamcatcher, which has no relevance to the movie. What did you catch any tie-in? Did I miss it?
When he gave them the magical powers, he saw a few, like, spider webs in the air hovering, like, above them. But, you know, it can really go fuck itself. I think it was just Stephen King was like, I want to get some like Native American stuff in there. That's magical, right? How let's really like squeeze in another facet of offensiveness in here.
Well, it's not the first time he's reduced the Native Americans to some cartoon character in one of his books, like Pet Sematary.
Oh God, no! Don't do it. I also want to talk about the fact that these guys, like, all right, so Stephen King basically has, like, if you were to build comic books, like Marvel comic books off of it, you've got X-Men coming out of Stephen King's universe. These guys are, like, the really, really unpopular, like, who? What powers do they have? They're, like, the worst X-Men.
The ass, yeah, like the... Oh my God. Yeah, they sort of have precognitive abilities, kind of, but it doesn't really help them in any way. You know? Like, he knows that, Beaver knows that, What's-His-Balls is something might happen to him, but he doesn't know what. It doesn't work that way, he says.
Yeah.
How does it work? It doesn't work at all, apparently. Oh, be careful going home. Oh, that's sage advice, thanks. And then it turns out that Duddits was luring him into the street. He wanted him to get hit because that somehow was a triggering event that was going to set them saving the world off or something. It's like, what?
That doesn't make any sense, because they even said that they go to that cabin that they call Hole in the Wall, and they've gone there like every fucking winter for 20 straight years. So he didn't even need to get hit by a car. It's because Duddits is a piece of shit, and these people are his cannon fodder. He is not their friend. They should not have fond recollections of him. He like lured them to him as children and gave them just enough power to help him kill people, and fuck it if they die.
They had as much depth as the characters in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, I love that movie.
Each character has their little backstory. It doesn't really matter. They just flesh it out a little bit just so that you can have this movie that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Great sci-fi.
Terrible sci-fi, but funny movie.
Oh, man. And... yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, what did I like about it? What I liked about this movie is the same thing I liked about it the first time I saw it, which was the how disgusting and irreverent the whole alien infection thing was. Was just to, instead of making it, like, cool and mysterious, they made it absolutely just guttural and disgusting. It's mixed with farts, like stinky farts, burps, and bloating, and sweating, and you just feeling bad, and, and then you shit out an alien, like,
and die.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm all on board with that. And seeing it is hilarious, and that whole section is great. But the rest of the movie just fails. It's just there's some moments, I guess. I mean, there's something that it has its own bizarre charm for me, but I've seen it. Well, just like I know what you did last summer, I've seen it enough now. I don't need to ever see that movie again. There's just better bad things out there to watch. Yeah, and you're right. Like that scene, like everything with the infected hunter, and even Jason Lee on the toilet, and even all the way up, like whenever his fingers get bitten off, it's all great. And then then there's a puff of red mist, and the movie turns into a turd. It just it doesn't live up to what it was building towards. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, okay, so those things burst out, and I guess they grow up to be Mr. Greys. So these things have like a brood of eggs that they hatch out of their spike ass. And then also a decoy brood of eggs, don't forget. Oh, God, yeah. They have a decoy brood of eggs. And then they hatch little worm things that grow really fast into Mr. Greys, I guess. Okay. But the whole thing is perpetuated by a fungal spore system on mammals, I guess. And all of those mammals that we saw fleeing the forest had fungal infections on them, so they are still spreading that fungus across the world. So how does the fungus lead to the worm thing? Through the ass? That's right. It infects the animal, and then the creature gestates inside its bowel. That's what it is. And then they shit it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get a topical fungal infection, like athletes everything, and that causes a horrific butt-fanged creature to grow in your chest and then descend down to your stomach and then shoot out of your ass to death.
Which, again, makes no sense, as if it's somehow incapable of escaping from your colon.
Yeah.
It can rip your fingers off with no effort. Wouldn't it just burst out of your body? But it is great that it comes out of your asshole, but the science doesn't check out.
Yeah. I guess they were like, all right, well, what do we do instead of a chest burster? Like, they've already done that. It was like, well, what if they pooped it out? I bet that would be funny. If we know about Stephen King, one thing, it's that he loves a poop.
That's right. Stephen King is also notorious for reading every horror book and putting a blurb on it. And one of the authors, almost every. So one of the authors that he's done this for is a guy named Nick Cutter, which is a pen name. But Nick Cutter is the name he uses when he's writing his horror books. His horror books are all kind of like monster stories, but the monster is always some sort of parasitic infection. So there's a whole book about a parasitic tapeworm infection that is completely out of control. Like, the thing's been genetically modified in the lab, and it's just a gross out, like, it's a bunch of kids, a Boy Scout troop on an island. It's called the Troop. And if you want to see something that's disgusting or read something that's disgusting about parasitic infections and stuff, that's the way to go, because that book is really gross. It's good, but it really makes you uncomfortable. Like, this is gross, but it's like cartoonish, It's like you don't read, you don't watch Scooby-Doo comics and cartoons and then get grossed out because, whatever. It's just too lighthearted, which is part of the problem. The movie has this kind of lighthearted feel to it. So when these things happen that are pretty serious, like one of the four key characters gets consumed by an alien, there's no weight to it. You're just like, oh, well, there goes that guy. He was kind of an ass anyway.
Yeah.
But, like this, that's not good. You should feel upset, within an adult watching a movie terms, upset, like, oh, I like that character, instead of just, he was kind of a douche anyway.
Yeah. His power sucked.
And that's Timothy Olyphant. The guy's charming. He's funny.
I love Timothy Olyphant.
He's fun to watch, but man, not in this show.
Nope, and really can't aim a finger blast for shit.
What is that? He looks like he's like, what is? It's disgusting.
Jesus. All right, John, if you had to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 loathsome things, how wouldst thou and why?
Gonna give it a 1.75.
Damn.
Because it's pretty close to what I gave the other one. It might be the same. Anyways, it's because it's just not that good. It was 1.75 Loathsome Things worth of entertainment with some gross out factor. Seeing actors that I like, to be fair, including Tom Sizemore, but all of them just not being used to their full effect. And so it just missed the mark. It could have been good. It certainly had, the recipe was there, but yeah, I don't know. It was very problematic as far as like being a good movie.
I agree. I gave it a 2.1 out of 5. It's on top of being offensive, and there is a lot going into it. There's a huge budget. They had great actors, a really, really good Hollywood, screenwriter, maybe not director, I don't know. And like they had a lot of stuff going for it, and it was just it came out as a big horrible fart, and it was very similar to I Know What You Did Last Summer in that way, where it like had so much going for it that it just didn't do the thing with.
Yeah, it was a movie that didn't understand its own boundaries, which is exactly like I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is, that movie was, it's just supposed to be like a teen romp, like a slasher. It's a slasher. And it doesn't even function as a slasher. He barely kills anybody. And he doesn't do it in particularly interesting ways, although the crab thing was kind of funny. But that was so implausible that it was like, so, yeah, it's like the movie just didn't seem to understand that it can only fit. Like, here's what you have to work with. These boundaries right here. You can do whatever you want in there and still make a good movie. But, if you're going to try to, like, do anything else, it's just not going to work. This movie's the same. Another problem with this movie is it's way too long. And I don't usually care if a movie is long. And nowadays we're living in an era where every fucking movie is too long, but the movies are also the way that the movies are being made has changed. So the storytelling is different, and so the flow of these movies is different. So they can fill 2 hours, and it feels too long to have to sit there for 2 fucking hours and watch it. But the story itself, tells itself in 2 hours, and it's fine. This movie doesn't need 2 hours. There's no reason for it to be 2 hours. It's just bloated, which makes you think this is one of those movies where nobody knew what the fuck was going on. Like they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what would stick at the end. And then they were like, we got to get a cut together because we got to release this fucking thing and make some money out of it. That's all I get out of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cash grab. They like, this movie came out, I want to say, like 2 years after the book was published, so it was like cash grab all around. They were like, He was like, all right, I'm making a movie book. They were like, all right, we're making a book movie. And then we did.
It could have been good. Early 2000s are a rough time to make a movie like this because CGI was off to the races, and it just wasn't any good. It was just shit. Like when those animals are running through the snow, it looks like you're watching like a Song of the South fucking cartoon or something. It looks so fake.
It does. Wow, all those animals are really there.
Wow, they all look like cartoon characters. Yeah.
So John, who's the motherfucking asshole?
Oh God, the motherfuck! It's Duddits. Fuck Duddits.
It's Duddits, yes. He's been plotting all of this for years.
He's the darkness at the heart of this entire story.
This is who Joseph Conrad was talking about.
You remove this guy from that world, and those 4 dudes have 4 lovely lives.
Yeah.
They're sitting in that cabin. In a couple months, they're going to head down to that cabin, and they're all, they're old now. They're probably in their 70s or whatever. They're going to go to that cabin and just wait. They're not in their 70s. That was only like 20 years ago, so they're probably our age, 40s, 50s, whatever. Who cares? They're going to go there.
It was a real fuckaroo.
They're going to drink, cook some steaks, hang out, tell stories, it'll be fine. And then they'll go home to their stupid lives, and they won't have precognitive abilities. And Timothy Olyphant won't try to, impress some girl with buck teeth about how he was able to find her keys in a puddle.
So fucking creepy.
Oh my God, I hate this movie.
Yeah. Yep. But you're right. Duddits is
gotta be Duddits, right?
Yeah, he's the motherfucking asshole. So if you disagree with us or on any of those points, or would like to tell us in what ways we are the motherfucking asshole, you can do so by reaching out to us on Twitter and Instagram at LoathsomePod, or on Facebook at Loathsome Podcast, or you can email us at loathsomethings@gmail.com.
Yes. Thanks for listening, folks. Stay in touch. And as always, people are probably going to die.